Welcome back to Rebuild, Mark. We're continuing with I'm having a ball doing it, the whole series of us talking to people that we're going to meet up at Unbound and do Unbound 2025 together. And today is my newest friend, David. David, we haven't known each other very long, but thank you for joining in.
No, thank you for having me. It was
And
a
we met
pleasure.
last year.
Yeah, we met last year because I had stumbled on Rebuild Mark last year,
Yeah.
just watching stuff. Anybody's got Unbound, you sort of stumble onto it, and then I, watched the whole series, and then caught up with you at the campground or the not the
At
campground.
the Lyon County Fairgrounds
Yes,
there.
the fairgrounds, which I've always stayed there since I guess 2017. We've always stayed at the fairgrounds, and it's a great place. If anybody's looking to camp,
I agree. Yeah,
yeah,
my two trips to Emporia, I've stayed there. I slept in a tent under one of those livestock pavilions the
yeah,
first year, and then I had that nifty little van a PR company loaned me last year.
right.
Cool. Well, tell me about your cycling life. When did you get into riding bikes, and what was the entry point? Was it road bikes or mountain bikes, or was it gravel?
Uh, I guess it was wow many years ago, and I've always been riding bikes, but really I had a friend that convinced me to do a riding mountain bikes. And then he said, let's do a road ride, which I was in Georgia at the time. And we did, what they call six gap, and
Wow.
we did three gap, but I had a mountain bike. I had a mountain bike, and the furthest I've been, we were weekend warriors. We rode mountain bikes back then, 26-inch wheels, and we did it on the weekends. It was great. Or sometimes, in the morning before work, but he said, just throw some slicks on your mountain bike and let's go ride 50 miles. And
Yeah,
I was like,
up
I don't
mountains.
think I can. And North Georgia is up or down, very steep. But yeah, you're Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't ridden Six Gap, but I'd gone to the tour of Georgia when it was up there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I did three gap, and that got me hooked on the distance part. And then I got into road cycling, and then I'd always dabbled into mountain bikes and had a single speed mountain bike, and then always kept the road bike because that's what everybody else was doing, and having a great time with that. And then when we moved to Arkansas, still continued to road bike and did some events around here in Arkansas. And one thing led to another, and stumbled across once again this gravel in 2013. I read an article from Chris Carmichael, which I was following him on, the time crunch cyclist, because I was working, and I want to keep my endurance and my physical self up to ride these events. And he had mentioned in 2013 that he did Dirty Kansas or Unbound now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's what I need to do next.
Well, that was my next question because you by far of this little group that I'm trying to follow along this year have the most experience in Kansas at Unbound, what used to be called Dirty Kansas, as any of us. So that's how far back it goes. That's 12 years ago.
Right. And
And how
that, I
many
mean,
times?
how many times have I been?
Yeah.
Well, 2014, a friend of mine, we went out and did it. And, that was, I had bought a new bike just for this event. And at the time it was a steel frame like the other Mark has, and a great
Mhm.
bike. I did it three times on that bike, but put a 2.0 mountain bike tire at the time because another article I'd read from Guitar Ted said, go as big as you can, go 2.0, and you won't have any flats. But back then, the only kind of tires were cross tires or road tires or those city touring tires, which
Mhm.
were heavy, or you got a lot of punctures. He said, always go big. You won't have as many punctures. Would you rather have eight punctures or maybe two? No.
None
So,
wasn't an option.
no. So 2014 was my first year. Perfect weather. Everything went great. And that's probably the best year I finished it. It was like 10:30, I think. It was a
So you're
good
just like,
time.
this is, I don't know what everybody's talking about. This is no problem.
No, no, and, we had ridden around here. North Central Arkansas is very similar to out there in Kansas in some perspectives, but we have more trees. The hills. I live in a part where if I go 10 miles south, I'm in the Delta. If I go 10 miles north, I'm in the Ozarks. So I'm right there on the line, and I can
Yeah.
choose my day accordingly. But also, there's more gravel than anything.
Yeah. All right.
So
So 2014, no problem.
no problem. 2015
Right.
went in. That was the first mud year. Is if anybody talks about mud years, and we carried our bikes for 5 miles, and I finished that year. 2016. This is where it got fun. 2016, ready to go. Come the end of January in 2016, I found out I was going to have open heart surgery. So I had a 6 bypass open heart surgery, and it was from a family history of high cholesterol, calcium buildup, and it is called hypercholesterolemia, familial hypercholesterolemia, and it's hereditary, generation to generation, and no stents could work, so they had to go in and do 6 bypasses. So
How long
16,
was the
how
so how long was the recovery for that? Obviously, you didn't make it there in 2016.
no, no, uh, it was 4 months exactly, maybe 4.5. But I did get on the trainer, and before I go any further, let me tell you, since everybody's like, "Oh, I can do it. I can't do that," but I always consult my doctor about ever since surgery or even before surgery. I said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to continue doing. He said, okay, but you can't go out and just hammer down and keep pressure because your arteries and veins are not the same. Even though we took them out in another part of your body, you still can't run like that. You can do hard efforts, but not maintain a hard effort over
Hmm.
hours upon hours. So he I always consult my doctor about anything. And people are like, oh, you're amazing. You're doing this. No, I consult my doctor. He prescribes my medicine. I take my medicine. Um, and the bad thing is, I always wanted to do Leadville. And you living in Colorado now, like, oh man, yeah, Leadville, man. He said that's probably too much just because of the just because of the altitude. And it's
Yeah.
one of those things. I watch it. I'm like, oh man, gosh,
Well,
Leadville.
if you ever, I got dangerously close this year to entering that lottery because again, like you said, it's just such an interesting event, and
Right.
it starts, if you don't know about Leadville, it starts at
Yeah.
10,200 feet and goes up from there. And that Leadville's a cool little town. We've driven through it. So if it ever works out, we'll go take it easy on Leadville together and make it happen. So when did you make it back for the first time since or after the surgery?
Well, 2016, of course, the rest of the year, I did get on the trainer probably, I want to say 2 months after surgery, just to turn the pedals. And like I said, I consulted my doctor. He said, turn the pedals, wear a heart monitor, don't get your heart rate up. You can turn the pedals. That's it. So slowly, and it was painstaking just to sit on the bike, and I didn't want to crush my chest. I was on the handlebars, and so 16, I was kind of out of cycling, but slowly got back and did small 10-mile rides. 17, my first event was Mid South, and I went, and it was snowing and rainy and muddy. Everything that Bobby Wendell says it will be, it was. And I tried for 100. I got 50 in and got to the middle, and my wife and kids were there. And it was so cold. I said, you know what? I'm done. I've had fun. And it was great. And, but so 17, and that's where this poster comes in. That was the year I finished. That was kind of my redemption year, going back and finishing. And then once I got that third one, it was oh man, you know what? What about one more? Yeah, go for 5.
Yeah.
And which, of course, we're talking 2018. We moved. 2019, I visited the Emporia Hospital because I got dehydrated. Yeah.
Mm.
And once again, just one of those things. I thought, you know what? I'll be good. I know what the pain is. My pain
Mm.
is way up here, and I know I can take it just a notch higher. And well, when you get dehydrated, they're like, no, no. And the greatest thing about the Emporia Hospital, when you tell somebody you've had open heart surgery and 6 bypasses, man, talk about treatment. There were so many people. They were like, are you okay? Can you breathe? They're like, yeah, yeah. Well, we can't find any veins. I was like, I'm dehydrated. That's why. But they treated me very well there. So that was 2019. 2020, COVID, nobody did it then. 21, again, I got dehydrated or I got nervous and I just called it myself. I didn't have to go to the hospital. 22, yeah, another mud year. That was the other mud year just recently.
But that, well,
22.
23 was a mud year because that was the first year I went.
Oh, 22, I finished. That was it. 22
So that
made
was the
4.
fourth.
Yeah. 22 made 4. Um, and then, yeah, 23 was a mud year and I did not finish. But I had 2 friends that were attempting for the first time and they both finished. And I regret not finishing, but I also am happy because I got to see both of them finish their first Unbound in the most brutal conditions. And both of them are now like, one and done. That was great.
I think there's two sorts of people that there's the one and dones, and then there's that just can't not go back anymore. You got to go back over
Right.
and over.
Right. So this last year, 24, in the beginning of the year, I was having chest pains. In January, I was not having like severe pain, but just a gnawing pain. So went to the doctor and they did a heart cath and they put 4 stents in. One of my bypasses had failed. So they had to go in and do 4 stents, which took me out for January, February, and part of March. So halfway through March, I started training and trying to get back. And I thought, you know what? I can do it. I know what it takes. I'll just go out there and turn the pedals till 3 a.m. Well, no, I did everything wrong. I mean, you name it. I didn't eat right. I tried something new, a supplement, and I started puking about mile 150 or probably 110, and the pukes didn't stop. Uh, and then for some reason, miscommunication on the Unbound side, they were pulling people off the course, saying, "Hey, you can't make it. You need to get off the course." And by this time, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was 20 miles away. And I was like, "Well, you know what? I'm not gonna finish. It's not gonna count. Why should I even, try?" So I got in the car, which I should have just kept on riding, even though I didn't feel good. Come to find out, a lot of people were told to get off the course and did, and some people didn't. But they offered me a spot this year to say, "Hey, we're sorry. That was the wrong call. Somebody took the information wrong," which I appreciate
Yeah.
greatly. I wasn't upset about getting pulled off the course. You're like, "Yeah, please take me out of here. I'm done. You can." Uh, and the way I was feeling, I was like, "Yeah." And I think I saw you the next morning.
Yep.
You had come by the camper, and I was,
Yeah.
oh, I was,
You tore up. You felt that it hurt a little bit to
yeah.
see it because you were so close.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, and I'm so grateful they gave me another opportunity to get this 5th one, and I just don't want to mess it up.
Well, I think you have all that experience, so you've got a great chance. And I was really happy because we hit the trailer that morning. You were like, "I'm out. This is it."
Oh
So
yeah,
I was really happy when you said you were going to go back when they offered the spot and you took it. I was pretty excited to see it.
it's like a
Um,
golden ticket, from Willy Wonka. You're like,
you got to go.
and somebody's like, you're going to do the 100, right? Like, well, I mean, they're giving me the top tier of, going to do 200. Let's just go do
You
it.
need the chalice.
Yeah.
You need the mug.
Right.
So let's talk about bikes. What bike will you ride this year? And is it a bike you've ridden, or is it a new setup? What's going on with the equipment?
Well, it's a new bike. It's a Christmas birthday gift I got, and it's a 3T Explorer Ultra, and it's, claimed to fame as Aero, big down tube, and the 700 by 46 is the max on the 700 size, and a 650B by 61 is, yeah, which is, what it really is capable of handling. And I think I'm going to ride that bike. Oh, and it's also my first electronic shifting
Oh
bike.
yeah,
Yeah. So
Shimano or SRAM?
SRAM.
Cool.
So, I think I've come down, I'm going to ride a 650B wheel with probably a 2.2,
Nice.
or a 2.1, one of those, which still gives me plenty of room. My other bikes, I've ridden a 2.0, my 22 finish, I rode a 650B 47 size tire, Pathfinder Pro. And that worked. I mean, I finished. So I'm not worried about, and I was very comfortable. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Cool. That's good. And of all these things, we hear all the gear talk, but I think once you've done as many as you've done and been there as much, is there a piece of gear or a piece of anything to take that day that you think everybody ought to have on them or that saved you from time to time?
Oh, the one thing I would have to say a battery pack, or
Like a little bank to
yeah, a
charge
little
phones and stuff?
battery bank. Uh, because, you have friends texting you, or your head unit, all of a sudden you're like, hey, whoa, it's showing 20%. You're like, I thought it was going to last, 4 more hours.
Hmm.
And you're like, I can't make it to the next checkpoint. So, I would say a battery bank, or in your headlights, you get down to running at night, and you've experienced this. You turn the headlights on, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna put on low so I can see and if I need high, I'm going downhill. And sometimes your lights use more than you think ought to, also, because you are going a little slower because it is dark.
Yeah. And it's very dark in Kansas out
Yeah.
there. There's not a lot of ambient, city lights or anything around.
No, it's just those spotlights that you keep
Yeah.
seeing from mile
Well,
30
yeah, we've got 30,
ready to go.
25, 30 miles out. You can see
Yeah.
that's inspiring, but it doesn't help you see anything on the dirt.
No.
Yeah. Um, so you talked a little bit about mismanaging the hydration and the food, but what is your preferred fueling method when you're out on something like this? Are you all liquid, or is it a mix of solids and liquids? What do you do?
Well, I've tried all liquid, and I thought I had found the right one. And I can't bash. I don't bash anybody's product because everybody's different. Like
Mhm.
yourself, you use Tailwind. I've used Tailwind, but it doesn't agree with me, just because of my heart issue. And I wish it did, because man, the flavors are great. Uh, but I'm going with a mix this year. I'll be using Untapped with the maple syrup,
Mhm.
and the waffles and the maple aid. And I
Is there, you said something, the heart. Is there something special you have to watch out for with those? I mean, is it
potassium.
potassium, I was going to say
Yeah,
electrolytes. Yeah.
yeah. The potassium is high. Of course, when you need it when you're riding like that, but it's really high in again, Tailwind, great product. I wish I could use it, but I can't. But the potassium's high, and maybe if I cut it down, I've tried that one time, still had the same effect. Just kind of, it slows my heart rate down, puts
Mhm.
pressure on it, and I just can't move. I mean, you can move, but you're slower.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like you say, everybody's different. You got to find
Yeah.
what works. Cool. Well, when will you get to town that week?
Uh, Thursday. That
Are
Thursday
you going to
before.
camp again at the campground?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
We're last year, I think the day after, I just guessed at the weekends because it's usually one of two weekends, I think. So I booked multiple hotel rooms at different weekends. So I have two rooms booked, but Melissa and I have been talking about buying a camper for years. I think we're going to finally go buy us a camper and be back out at the campgrounds.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, would you buy one like you drove out or?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, no. Oh. I don't. I don't have the bank account to buy
Oh.
to buy those things. That's it's going to be a small little. Plus, as nice as that van was, it's a cargo van.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not particularly comfortable. It was a hoot to have, and it's
Right.
incredibly well equipped. But
Yeah.
so we'll take Melissa's Volkswagen and just pull a little camper behind it,
Mm.
hopefully. But maybe if we time, we'll get there Wednesday.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. So we will visit again, and I want to know, keep me posted on how the training's going.
Right.
We're close enough now that I think we're all getting really close to having what we're going to have, and that's just kind of how it's going to be. So, you
Right.
feel good so far?
I do. I do. I haven't gotten the mileage I wanted, but I've gotten the quality, the intensity, I guess. Again, 12 hours on a package car. You get home, you're like, I'll hit it in the morning. And then you wake up, you're like, you know what? I had some heavy packages yesterday. But we'll see this week. I'm going to try to hit it again this week. Just, get some time in the morning and on the weekend.
Well, I think, you've got the experience, which goes an awful long way. You can't replace that. So you'll get plenty of mileage on the race day.
Right. Right. And the funny thing is somebody always says, hey, are you going to go for the 350, the XL next year? It's like, I can't wrap my head around that. I mean,
I always say, I hope, because that's what happens. And people don't know this about, I'm sure it happens in other endurance sports, but we start riding bikes and in a 10 or 15 mile ride seems outlandish. Like it's so far. And then we ride and pretty soon you do 20 and then you do 25. And then somebody says, let's do a century. And you go, okay. And you do 100. A lot of people, I'd never planned that. It just kind of happened. And I really hope that I don't wake up one day and think that 350 sounds like a fun thing. But I was talking to my coach, Kristen Legan, and she won the 350 in
right.
2023. And I said I hadn't seen her on the list of the Grand Prix, that racing the stuff. So, are you racing this year? She goes, I'm gonna do the 350 again. Hey, racing, it's too hard to go that fast. I just like a big fun bike ride. And I thought that's crazy that's what she thinks of that 350. And then we ended our call. And about 2 hours later, I was like, I like big fun bike rides. Maybe I went, it happened.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking about the
Yeah.
350.
Exactly. Somebody plants that seed, in
Yeah.
you. And we have that right here in Arkansas, the Arkansas High Country, that's coming up. And there was one a couple weeks called Doom, that is in the, I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Doom, Doom, and it's in the heart of the Ozarks, and it's either down or straight up. It's crazy, like 43,000 feet of climbing. I can't remember, 400 miles. Anyway, it's insane. And oh, the funny thing is, the guy that puts it on, Andrew Arnemon, he will be there for the 350, delegating or in charge of that too. I think so. I don't know, Andrew, if
Yeah.
you're watching, good luck to you.
Well, I hope I get over it and I don't decide one day to try the 350, but I like big fun bike rides.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It's catching on. I think not necessarily, 350, but they're pushing it, 200, 250. They're popping up where people can do them in a day, or a weekend.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm excited to see you again. Thanks for hanging out and chatting with me. Let's chat again, hopefully before. If not, we'll certainly see each other there on pre-race day. So maybe we'll chat again and do another little clip. And then I look forward to you having that 1,000-mile
The goblet.
accomplishment,
Yeah.
the goblet. I know you can do it. 100% faith. I hope I'm there. I hope I'm either right behind you or just ahead of you, so I can watch you cross the finish line.
Right.
But I know it's going to be a good day, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person again.
Well, that's the thing I was going to ask you. Now that we've met and talked, what my goal is just to finish. So what's your goal? I mean, are you going
Last
for?
year it was, yeah, last year it was just redemption and finishing because I
Yeah.
did not finish in 2023, and I think I finished around. I think it was close to 11, 10:50 or so last year. So this year, beating the sun is
Oh
the big
wow.
goal because I basically need 2 hours,
Right.
and I'm bringing my wife's coming to be my support, so I won't have to do the crew support, and that
That's
should save
yeah.
plenty of times. I'm not having to mix my own bottles up and dig through the bag and stuff.
Right.
And I think there's an outside shot I can get there.
Oh man.
But mostly, Kristen, again, she's a good coach. She keeps reminding me that last year was a pretty good year. Let's not
Yeah.
let's not forget it can be hotter, it can be wet, it can be all sorts of Kansasy things. So
Yeah.
finishing's the main thing, but
Beating the sun.
I think I have an outside shot of beating the sun.
I hope you do.
And you said you watched, the interview with my friend Tom. Tom's been, I mean, he's how I got into all this. And one of his concerns is going out too hot. And so if I'm just a little bit better than last year and he uses me as a limiter for not going out
Oh
too hot,
gosh.
it would be a good day if we could stay together until the first checkpoint. But
Right.
anyway, that's my goal is just, I would, if I could beat the sun, I'd be pretty pleased with that. But if not, whatever, as long as I finish.
Right. Yeah. I may, and you know what? First checkpoint, I may ride with Tom after that.
Well, he'll
You
leave me
leave
then.
us.
He'll leave me and go. Tom's super fit, and
Okay.
I don't have any. There's no fitness reason he won't kill it. He just doesn't typically do those sorts of distances, and so it's all the things are gonna you hadn't been out that far. What happens to your body when you've been on the bike for that long? And so those are the things he's worried about. But
Right.
he's so fit. I think he'll be fine. Cool. All right. Well, thanks again for hanging out. I will, if nothing else, I will see you in a few weeks.
Yes. What, 34 days?
I hadn't counted the days. It's like 5 weeks or so, 5.5 weeks.
Oh gosh. Come on, man. You got to count. All right. 4 Saturdays.
4 Saturdays. Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, David. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.